Dragon Emperor Sun Chapter 681-690. Chapter 681. The cyan blade glowed with dazzling brilliance, and directly cut a gap in the giant hand from the middle. Qin Xiaolan's figure suddenly stepped back, and the giant hand made of condensed air instantly turned into smoke and dissipated in the air. In this fight, Qin Xiaolan didn't even get a bargain, but was beaten back by David, which surprised everyone a lot. Qin Xiaolan's eyes narrowed slightly, the murderous intent in his eyes became more and more intense. Without any language, he immediately shot at David again. Regardless of whether David was injured or not, Qin Xiaolan didn't intend to give David the slightest chance to breathe. Since he couldn't kill him in one hit, he would consume David to death. With his strength in the realm of Wuzong, he didn't believe that David had consumed it with him. I saw Qin Xiaolan shook hands into fists, separated by dozens of meters, and suddenly threw out a fist, only to see a translucent invisible energy quickly moving towards David. Because the speed was too fast, everyone only saw David and Qin Xiaolan's body. I saw that a white smoke was formed, like a plane passing through the air, leaving a long trace behind it. Bang! David once again condensed his energy into a knife. This time, the sword light was obviously much stronger. Obviously, David did not use his full strength in the blow just now. With a dull loud noise, David's sword light slashed fiercely on top of the Qi Jin. Although David blocked most of the Qi Jin this time, part of it still hit David's chest heavily. David's figure instantly leaned back, and then flew out quickly. David's feet slid on the ring, and soon two deep ravines appeared on the ring, until it reached the edge of the ring. The figure stopped. David frowned slightly. Wuzong's strength can't be underestimated. Qin Xiaolan's energy is obviously different from that of ordinary warriors. You must know that the energy of ordinary warriors is generated by their own beating and cultivation. If they can achieve the release of energy, they are already in the realm of masters. However, because of the limitations of warriors' cultivation methods, the energy of warriors cannot last. It can't be so solid. Compared with the spiritual power of immortal cultivators, Qi Jin is simply too far behind, which is why David is only a monk in the fasting period now, but he can kill two great masters of martial arts without any effort. However, Qin Xiaolan's energy is completely different from that of other warriors. It is almost the same as that of a cultivator. It is no wonder that Long Wu warned David in advance that warriors in the realm of Wuzong are not so easy to deal with. After the realm of Wuzong, it will reach a whole new level. It is no wonder that the dream of many warriors is to reach the realm of Wuzong, and even to achieve this goal, they continue to practice, but it seems that this realm of Wuzong is not so easy to achieve. In addition to their own cultivation techniques and talents, they also need opportunities. Being able to resist my two blows, you are the most powerful grandmaster I have ever seen since I left the customs. Your body is stronger than I imagined. You must have taken some kind of medicinal pill. After tempering your body, if you can give me the medicine pill, maybe I can let you live. Qin Xiaolan looked at David's exposed bronze skin with envy in his eyes. You let me go? I killed your son and your nephew. Will you let me go? David raised the corner of his mouth and sneered. When I cultivate to my realm, family love is nothing but a tie. When I cultivate to eternal life, He-Jo has no children. If you really have the medicine that can temper your body and give it to me, I will definitely let you go. Qin Xiaolan's words surprised everyone. Unexpectedly, Qin Xiaolan could not even avenge his son's revenge for the so-called elixir. Chapter 682. David looked at Qin Xiaolan with a sneer, his eyes full of contempt. You want to let me go, but unfortunately I don't want to let you go. You must die on this ring today. After David finished speaking, his fingers turned into knives, and the blue blade light flashed again, reaching several feet long in David's hands. David waved vigorously, and the sword that was several meters long moved towards Qin Xiaolan. The sword light made a crack on the arena, and sparks burst out from the hard ground at this moment. Under the sunlight, those sparks looked so bright, like fireworks blooming. Qin Xiaolin frowned, and hurriedly waved his hands in front of him. A wall of air visible to the naked eye blocked Qin Xiaolin's front. This was the air wall that Qin Xiaolin condensed with his energy, which was comparable to a copper wall and an iron wall, and was extremely tough. After David's sword light touched the air wall in front of Qin Xiaolin, there was a crisp sound of steel colliding. I saw the knife slashing hard on the air wall, and the crisp collisions were endless, and the fire was splashing, as if a high-speed rotating cutting machine was cutting against a copper wall. David, your strength is still a little short. With just this little sword light, can't you break the defense? Qin Xiaolin sneered, because he knew that with David's strength, this sword glow would disappear soon and would not last too long. After all, it was motivated by qi energy. Mang disappeared naturally. Qin Xiaolin was planning to follow David, but when David saw Qin Xiaolin's thought, he was instantly happy. Although Qin Xiaolin's strength was indeed stronger than David, it was really more durable. David was much stronger than that Qin Xiaolin. David's Danshan has a lot of spiritual power. If he follows Qin Xiaolin in this way, he can consume Qin Xiaolin to death. David's sword light was constantly slashing on Qin Xiaolin's defensive air wall. As time went by, David's sword light showed no signs of weakening, but also increased slightly. But looking at Qin Xiaolin, cold sweat began to form on his forehead, and his eyes looked at David in disbelief. The air wall in front of him also became more and more transparent from pale white at the beginning, which proves that Qin Xiaolin's energy is beginning weakened. Elder, how can David's energy be so strong? Then Qin Xiao's realm of Lin Wuzong can't even hold it. Yu Dong looked at the scene in the ring and asked for a long time. At this time, Su Chongsheng was also in a state of confusion, and he couldn't understand David. How could this happen? This David looks at the strength of the 5th grade Grandmaster, so how can he be so strong? Could it be that this kid didn't eat the burst pill before he entered the ring? Su Chongsheng frowned slightly. Elder, if this kid eats the burst pill, wouldn't it be his own death? Besides, the burst pill is only effective for 10 minutes, and now they have been fighting for more than 10 minutes. Yu Dong disagreed with Su Changshen's explanation. Although bursting pills can improve people's strength in a very short period of time, it also comes at a price. Eating bursting pills will hurt the internal organs, not to mention that bursting pills do not have such a long-term effect. This is strange, it seems that this David has a lot of secrets. Su Chongsheng looked at David in the ring, his eyes were bright, as if he wanted to see David through. On the other side, Wu Meier said to Long Wu, Uncle Long, it seems that David still has a chance of winning, and it is estimated that you will not need to take action. Long Wu nodded, David will win, there is no suspense, we should go. Long Wu actually walked out of the stadium slowly, and Wu Meier followed closely behind. David on the ring did not notice that Long Wu had left, but made his determination to make the sword light skyrocket again. Chapter 683. The ground under Qin Xiaolin's feet has begun to crack, but he is still insisting on it. The vastness of David's energy has shocked Qin Xiaolin. Clack clack. With the sound of cracks, the air wall in front of Qin Xiaolin began to have tiny cracks, and then the cracks became bigger and bigger. Qin Xiaolin's face changed, and his figure suddenly retreated. Whoa, whoa! After Qin Xiaolin's Qi Jin retreated, the Qi wall instantly turned into nothingness, and David's Cyan sword light swung down, forcibly slashing the ring at Qin Xiaolin's feet with a knife mark several meters long. The blade was sharp and penetrated directly into the arena, and even the ground gave a deep pit several meters long, and the sand and gravel rolled out. At this time, Qin Xiaolin's body had already retreated to the edge of the ring, so he was able to escape David's sword light. Looking at Qin Xiaolin's embarrassed appearance, David's eyes narrowed slightly. If I had a real treasured sword in my hand, you would have already become my dead soul at this moment. Qin Xiaolin looked at David and did not refute it, because what David said was true. If David was not condensing his chi as a sword at this moment, but had a real treasured sword in his hand, Qin Xiaolin would be very difficult to hide. David, don't be too happy. I have been in seclusion for several years, and I have devoted myself to studying my Qin family's exercises. I finally broke through the realm of Wuzong. How could you be a great master who easily defeated? After Qin Xiaolin finished speaking, a terrifying aura suddenly erupted from his body, and then the whole stadium began to blow with gusts of wind. Qin Xiaolin's hair was all standing tall, and his hands seemed to dance as if they were dancing, grabbing randomly in the air, but Qin Xiaolin threw it away as soon as he grabbed it. His hands that were originally empty were now blazing sharp edges. Several feet in front of David were all shrouded by this edge, and the edges were like steel balls, and they went straight to David's vital parts. David didn't dodge or dodge, and even let the sharp edges hit him. After several hands with Qin Xiaolin, David had a certain understanding of Qin Xiaolin's strength and his body's ability to fight, so he dared not to dodge. Dao Dao's sharp edge hit David, and there was a soft sound, but David's body was not at all different, and there was not even a little mark on his skin. Qin Xiaolin said with an ugly face, David, are you wearing chain mail? I have never seen anyone's body tempered so powerfully. David sneered, took off the heart-protecting bronze mirror on his chest, and threw it onto the ring. Even if I don't wear anything, what can you do to me? David's remarks made Qin Xiaolin lose face instantly. Seeing that David actually threw the bronze mirror to the ground, Qin Xiaolin's expression became solemn. Since David dares to throw away the bronze mirror, it proves that David has full confidence at this moment. Qin Xiaolin took a deep breath and looked at David coldly, since you care so much, let you taste the taste of death. After Qin Xiaolin finished speaking, the aura on his body began to rise again. The terrifying pressure was centered on Qin Xiaolin and spread to the surroundings. Qin Xiaolin made a light move with his right hand, and the countless light spots in the sky actually gathered in his hand, as if the entire sun was controlled by Qin Xiaolin. Soon, the light spot in Qin Xiaolin's hand became brighter and brighter, even surpassing the light of the sun, making everyone in the stadium unable to open their eyes. What kind of move did Qin Xiaolin make? It's so terrifying. It's so powerful, I feel so hot from such a distance. This move, David can't take it. It seems that the gap in realm is difficult to make up after all. It's over, David will lose this move. Everyone was discussing the power of Qin Xiaolin's move, and the people sitting in the front row covered their eyes one after another. Chapter 684. At this moment, Sonia and the others raised their hearts to their throats. Force! Qin Xiaolin suddenly roared, and the light in his hand immediately went towards David. In addition to the heat waves, what is more serious is the huge sense of oppression, which makes David feel like a mountain is pressing on his shoulders. The ring under David's feet began to burst, and then the ring collapsed suddenly, and David's figure quickly fell under the ring. And that ray of light quickly reached where David was standing, and hit David directly along the gap in the ring. Everyone only saw that the light penetrated into the ring and disappeared, and they couldn't see the current situation of David who fell into the ring. It's over, it's over. A great master wants to defeat Wuzong, but after all, it's just a dream. This David is considered a genius, and that terrifying body is even more powerful. It's a pity that he doesn't understand the forbearance, and this good body wasted in vain. Everyone sighed, and some people have started to slowly get up and prepare to leave. Elder, is everything over? Yu Dong looked at Su Chongsheng and asked. Su Chongsheng was slightly disappointed and said, it's over, I originally thought that David would give me a surprise. Wuzong is Wuzong, and the gap in a big realm can't be tied by strong physicality and skills. Then why didn't the great elder take action just now and rescue David so that he can ask him for a medicinal pill? Yu Dong didn't understand why Su Chongsheng didn't save David. Just that Qin Xiaolin's blow just now, even if I make a shot, I can't guarantee that I will be unscathed. I really didn't expect the Qin family to be so domineering. Su Chongsheng sighed slightly. At this moment, Qin Xiaolin in the ring, with endless arrogance and confidence in his eyes, glanced at everyone around him. When he felt Qin Xiaolin's gaze, all the people he saw lowered their heads slightly. After this battle, Qin Xiaolin's ranking in the martial arts world will definitely increase a lot, and the Qin family will also rise with the tide. Hurry up and welcome my big brother down. Qin Xiaotian, who was under the ring, was excited, and immediately ordered the servants of the Qin family to step forward and form 2 rows to welcome Qin Xiao in the ring. But just as Qin Xiaolin turned around and was about to walk towards the ring, a burst of golden light burst out from the gap in the ring where David was standing. Everyone's eyes widened instantly, looking at the golden light that burst out, and they were all shocked. Qin Xiaolin, who had stepped down from the stage, also stopped at this moment and looked at the golden light that burst out with an incredible look. No one knew what was going on, but they could be sure that this golden light had something to do with David. David's body slowly rose from the gap in the ring, and David's body was wrapped in golden light, as if the gods had descended. Damn it, this David didn't die, is he going to become an immortal? Is this David an unbeatable Xiao Qiang? He is too strong. It's fun to watch now. The people who were about to leave turned back one after another. It seems that there is still more excitement behind the fight. David slowly stood on the ring, and the golden light on his body slowly faded. At this moment, David not only did not see the slightest injury, but his energy was much more abundant than before. Qin Xiaolin, if this is all you can do, then let's end it. After David finished speaking, his body suddenly burst, and he catapulted directly towards Qin Xiaolin. His fist with the size of a sandbag went straight to Qin Xiaolin's face. This time, David didn't use any fancy moves, just this simple punch, with a strong wind, because the speed was too fast, the surrounding air seemed to be evacuated in an instant. Qin Xiaolin turned around in a hurry, raised his hand and threw a punch, ready to resist David's attack. Chapter 685. This was the first real physical collision after 2 people came to power, so everyone looked at it with wide eyes, hoping to see a miracle again. If the Grand Master wins against Wuzong, it will give many warriors confidence, and it can be seen that the gap in realm can be made up. Boom! David's fist collided heavily with Qin Xiaolin's fist, and the huge impact was scattered around the 2 people, and everyone could see the aftermath spreading at a speed visible to the naked eye. Seeing this, everyone in the front row hurriedly took action, each bursting with breath, and then resisted the impact of this wave of diffusion. Even so, everyone in the front row felt their bodies trembling, which can be seen from the impact. How powerful! Click! With a crisp sound, Qin Xiaolin's wrist was bent in a strange way because he was in a hurry to fight, and it was obviously broken, and his whole body was also knocked out by a strong force. Originally, Qin Xiaolin was already on the edge of the ring, but now he was slammed into the air, flew out of the ring, and smashed towards the ground. Big brother! Seeing this, Qin Xiaotian was shocked, and jumped up in a hurry, trying to support Qin Xiaolin. And the servants of the Qin family also jumped into the air one after another, trying to catch Qin Xiaolin together. Bang bang bang! After a muffled sound, Qin Xiaotian and the servants of the Qin family were all hit hard by Qin Xiaolin and flew out together. So many people failed to stop Qin Xiaolin's body from flying backwards, which shows how powerful David's punch was. Qin Xiaolin, brother Qin Xiaotian, and many servants of the Qin family were all smashed to the ground, causing waves of smoke. This time, the entire stadium exploded in an instant, and David's punch shocked almost everyone. Mr. Chen is awesome, one person singled out the Qin family. Lin Tianhu jumped up excitedly and kept yelling. Great Elder, Great Elder! Yu Dong wanted to ask Su Chongsheng what was going on, but found that Su Chongsheng seemed to have been immobilized, staring straight at David, motionless. Qin Xiaolin climbed up with difficulty, and his face was extremely ugly. The right hand drooped weakly and could no longer move. Looking at his broken wrist, Qin Xiaolin couldn't understand why David, a great master, had such strength. He found that David's vigor seemed to never run out when he fought with David, and he kept getting stronger and stronger. Shang! This cannot be the strength that a martial artist with the strength of a great master can show. Could it be that he has misunderstood? David, I lost. I admit that you are very strong. You are not a great master. What kind of strength are you? What secrets do you have? Qin Xiaolin squinted his eyes slightly, looked at David and asked. Listening to Qin Xiaolin's words, everyone looked at David. They all thought that David's strength was nothing more than a great master, but now he has completely defeated Qin Xiaolin, who is Wu Zong. Could it be that they are all wrong? Or maybe there is a secret about David, these people want to know. My secrets, you don't deserve to know. David smiled coldly. Qin Xiaolin's face was full of anger, but he was not in the ring. Now that his wrist is broken, he can no longer be David's opponent. Okay, I was defeated by you today, I admit it, let's wait and see. Qin Xiaolin stayed ashamed. After speaking, he turned around and prepared to take people away. Do I agree that you are leaving? Qin Xiaolin just turned around when David's voice came, and then a black shadow flashed over his head. David jumped down from the ring and blocked Qin Xiaolin's face. Chapter 686. Qin Xiaolin frowned. David, I have given up, what else do you want? Admit defeat. David raised his mouth. I started to ask you to kowtow and admit your mistake, and I can spare your life. Since you don't agree, then you can't leave today. Are you going to kill them all? Qin Xiaolin didn't expect that David didn't let him go after he conceded defeat. Today is a life and death fight. If I lose, will you let me go? David's face was cold. At the beginning, he didn't plan to let Qin Xiaolin leave alive. The kindness to the enemy is cruel to himself, but David is not so kind. Everyone was stunned when they saw that David was going to kill Qin Xiaolin. A great master actually stopped a Wuzong and wanted to kill him, not to mention that there were many people in the Qin family at the scene, including several masters in the realm of the great master. David planned to fight the entire Qin family alone. David, don't be too arrogant, my eldest brother has given up, and you have to kill them all. I really think our Qin family is afraid that you won't succeed. Qin Xiaotian stepped out, while the other Qin family members directly surrounded David in the middle. Qin Xiaotian, today is a life and death struggle between me and your eldest brother. If you don't want to die, get out of the way, or none of you want to leave. David's face was gloomy, and raging killing intent erupted from his body. This is Horrendal, not Kyoto. I want to be rude to Mr. Chen here, but you chose the wrong place. Lin Tianhu jumped out of the auditorium, followed by Qi Feng, Zhao Waoqi, Bai Ziashan, Wu Liuyi, and many others from the Jiangbei martial arts world all surrounded them. Hundreds of people from Chifengtang and Juyatang, who were originally in charge of the hands outside the stadium, also swarmed in and surrounded the entire arena. Qin Xiaolin and the others were surrounded by them. Qin Xiaotian, this is a battle between Mr. Chen and your eldest brother. It is a battle post from your eldest brother. In front of so many people in the martial arts world, do you want to bully the less with more? Bai Ziashan looked at Qin Xiaotian and asked coldly. Qin Xiaotian, as the pavilion master of the Dharma Protector Pavilion, I don't care who wins or loses in a regular battle, but if you guys break the rules, I won't sit idly by. Zhao Waoqi also had a cold expression on his face. He had long disliked the Qin family. He compared him to a dog in the lounge just now. Hey, you scare me less and use more people. Although we have few people, these are the elites of the Qin family. Which one is not above the 5th rank Grandmaster, or even a big Grandmaster? Just you rabble, really want to fight, get up, it's not necessarily who wins and who loses. Qin Xiaotian snorted coldly and planned to lead someone to fight recklessly. He couldn't watch Qin Xiaolin be beaten to death by David. If the Qin family did not have Qin Xiaolin, the Qin family might collapse. Zhao Wuji and the others all have ugly faces. Qin Xiaotian is right. Although there are many of them, there are not many masters above the real masters. Some of the remaining people have not even practiced their energy, but just rushed to the number of people. That's all. In front of real experts, these people don't even have the chance to do it. For a while, everyone froze on the scene, no one did anything, but no one left, so the atmosphere was oppressive confrontation. Let me be fair. At this time, Su Chongsheng opened his mouth and slowly walked into the crowd. Su Chongsheng walked forward, but the crowd in front were unconsciously pushed aside by a huge force. Yu Dong followed Su Chongsheng and walked directly to the middle. After everyone saw Su Chongsheng, many people were puzzled, because they didn't know Su Chongsheng, but Qin Xiaolin and Bai Xiaoshan, Zhao Wuji were all surprised when they saw Su Chongsheng. Chapter 687. Zhao Waoqi hurriedly greeted him with a respectful look on his face. I didn't expect Elder Su to come too, what a distinguished guest. Gate Master Zhao is too polite, I'm also curious, come and take a look. Su Chongsheng smiled lightly. Elder Su. Bai Xiaoshan and Qin Xiaolin all greeted Su Chongsheng with respect. Seeing that these bigwigs are so respectful to Su Chongsheng, the others all fled from Su Chongsheng's side one after another, not daring to get too close to Su Chongsheng. Such a big man, with his faint aura, made them unable to bear it. David glanced at Su Chongsheng and Yu Dong, and said lukewarmly, do you two also want to get involved? Mr. Chen, this is Elder Su from Medicine God Valley, but Medicine God Valley is. Zhao Waoqi saw that David's attitude was not very good, so he hurriedly followed David's introduction, wanting to let David know who Su Chongsheng was. But before he could finish speaking, Su Chongsheng waved his hand and smiled, Gate Master Zhao doesn't need to be introduced, Brother Chen and I know each other. Su Changshen's words made Zhao Wuji and Bai Xiaoshan stunned, wondering when David met Su Chongsheng. And Qin Xiaolin, after hearing that Su Chongsheng and David actually knew each other, a bad premonition rose in his heart. If David really knew Su Chongsheng and had a good relationship, then the Qin family would really not dare to do anything to David in the future. It turns out that Mr. Chen and Elder Su have known each other for a long time, and it was me who talked too much. Zhao Waoqi said with an embarrassed expression. Actually, it's not too early. We met last night. The two of them broke into my villa in the middle of the night and wanted to rob my medicine pill. After a fight, we got to know each other. After David finished speaking, everyone suddenly exploded, especially Bai Xiaoshan and Zhao Waoqi. They never thought that David would actually fight with Su Chongsheng. Moreover, Su Chongsheng also wanted to snatch David's medicinal pills. You must know that Ye Shengu claims to be famous and upright, and he has indeed treated many people in the martial arts world, so he is deeply respected by everyone in the martial arts world. It's just that the people in Ye Shengu are very mysterious, so most people have never met people in Ye Shengu, and only some masters in the martial arts world or patriarchs of big families know people in Ye Shengu. Now the people of Ye Shengu are going to rob other people's medicine pills. Boy, what nonsense are you talking about? When did we rob your medicinal pill? It's just that the first elder wanted to see your medicinal pill. When did he say he wanted to rob you, and if he really wanted to rob your medicinal pill, use with the strength of the great elder, can you still live to this day? Yu Dong glared at David and retorted loudly. That is, what kind of strength is Elder Su? Many years ago, Elder Su was already a martial sect. I have to respectfully call Elder Su a senior, but you can still be Elder Su's opponent? What's more, Medicine God Valley is famous for alchemy, what can you do? Let Elder Su snatch it up? It's clearly your bloody spit. Qin Xiaolin was ecstatic at this moment, and immediately shouted at David with a serious face. Now he only needs to pull Su Chongsheng to his side, even if David has great ability, he can't move him in the slightest, and David follows Ye Shengu to form a revenge, which is sure to die. Qin Xiaotian is also looking at David at the moment. He doesn't know whether David is really stupid or fake, and he offends the people in Ye Shengu at this time. Mr. Chen, this must be a misunderstanding. Elder Su will never do this. Is there any misunderstanding here? Bai Ziashan looked at David and winked desperately at David. And David didn't seem to see it, and smiled coldly. What kind of heart they have in my villa at night, they know best in their hearts. Chapter 688. David's words surprised everyone. As a person in the martial arts world, they all know exactly where the Medicine God Valley is. What's more, David dares to say this when he is facing the great elder of the Medicine God Valley. Isn't this courting death? Bai Ziashan and Zhao Waoqi all sweated for David, for fear that Su Chongsheng would be angry. But this made Qin Xiaolin and Qin Xiaotian happy. Boy, you slandered me Ye Shengu, I think you are impatient. Yu Dong glared at David. Why, do you want to fight with me? You are just a defeated general. Do you have any reason to speak here? David looked at Yu Dong, who was furious, and said coldly. Yu Dong was furious. In front of so many people, he even said that he was a defeated general. Yu Dong was a little embarrassed, so he planned to go towards David in a single step. Yu Dong. Su Chongsheng stopped Yu Dong, then looked at David with a smile on his face and said, Brother Chen, I think you must have misunderstood, we have absolutely no intention of robbing you of the pills. As for the recklessness last night, I tell you apologize. Su Chongsheng, as the great elder of Medicine God Valley, actually apologized to David? This surprised everyone. Not even David himself thought that Su Chongsheng would actually apologize to him in public. Su Chongsheng apologized, and David couldn't say anything more. When the Qin brothers saw this situation, their originally excited hearts instantly cooled down. They didn't know what David was capable of to make the elder of Ye Shengu apologize. Elder, how can you apologize to him? Yu Dong looked at Su Chongsheng in disbelief. He had to know that everyone here was from the martial arts world. If this were to spread out, wouldn't their reputation for Medicine God Valley be damaged? Shut up! Su Chongsheng glared at Yu Dong, then glanced at everyone and said, Today, on behalf of Ye Shengu, I would like to say a fair word. Today's arena competition is for two people to settle their grievances. If the solution is not finished, I hope that no one will interfere. If anyone breaks the rules of the martial arts world, then don't blame me Ye Shengu for coming forward. Su Changshen's words instantly stunned Qin Xiaolin. Wouldn't this push him to death? Now that he has broken a hand, the energy in his body is almost exhausted. If he fights with David, he will surely die. We listened to Elder Su. Bai Ziashan spoke first, and then winked at Lin Tianhu and Chifeng. The two nodded, and with a wave of their hands, all the people in Chifengtang and Juyatang retreated. Obviously, David has the upper hand now, and there is no need for them to intervene. However, Qin Xiaotian took the Qin family and closely guarded Qin Xiaolin, but did not want to leave at all, because Qin Xiaotian knew that as long as they left, David would definitely kill Qin Xiaolin. Didn't you hear what I said? Su Chongsheng looked at Qin Xiaotian coldly. Elder Su, our Qin family has no grievances or enmity with Ye Shengu. If Elder Su can help us this time, my Qin family will definitely thank you. Qin Xiaotian looked at Su Chongsheng with pleading eyes. What do you mean? Are you bribing me in public? Su Chongsheng narrowed his eyes slightly. My Medicine God Valley is a well-known and decent family, and naturally I have to maintain the rules of the martial arts world. No one can break the rules, not to mention that this war book is still your Qin. Under the house, you can't break the rules, and now you retire immediately. Su Chongsheng did not give Qin Xiaotian any face, which made Qin Xiaotian very embarrassed. Go back. Seeing that Qin Xiaotian was still motionless, Su Chongsheng shouted angrily, and a terrifying aura instantly erupted from his body. Chapter 689. This terrifying momentum instantly enveloped Qin Xiaotian and all the servants of the Qin family, making everyone in the Qin family feel the pressure of the top of Mount Tai. Pressure, fell to the ground. Just using his aura can make a grandmaster vomit blood and fall to the ground, showing how terrifying Su Changshen's strength is. Go back. Qin Xiaolan said to Qin Xiaotian. Qin Xiaotian was helpless, so he could only take the Qin family's servants to retreat, but at this moment Qin Xiaolan's face was resolute. He knew that today might be his death day, and he had to go all out. Brother Chen, you continue, no one will interfere. Su Chongsheng smiled at David, then turned around and retreated with Yu Dong. David glanced at Su Chongsheng gratefully, then turned to look at Qin Xiaolan, his eyes full of murderous intent. Today, I will send you underground to find your son to reunite with. After David finished speaking, he jumped up and his body suddenly came to Qin Xiaolan. Qin Xiaolan didn't expect David to be so fast, his body quickly retreated, but it was too late. David slapped Qin Xiaolan's face. Snapped. After the crisp sound, Qin Xiaolan's body turned in a circle in the air, and then fell to the ground. Looking at half of Qin Xiaolan's face, it instantly became red and swollen, blood was flowing from the corners of his mouth, and even a few teeth were lost. David deliberately did not slap Qin Xiaolan to death. He wanted to make Qin Xiaolan look ugly in front of everyone, and he just took the opportunity to shock these people in the martial arts world. He doesn't want anyone to trouble him anymore. It's not that David is afraid, but he doesn't have time to waste on it. He has to hurry up to cultivate and prepare to land on the unknown island on July 15th. Everyone looked at Qin Xiaolan's miserable state, and they were drooling wildly, just like David, who else would dare to provoke him? Qin Xiaolan got up with difficulty, his eyes glared at David, he wanted to open his mouth to say something, but unfortunately his face was swollen and his teeth fell out, so he couldn't speak at all. You're still not convinced? David slapped it out again. This time Qin Xiaolan's entire face was turned into a pig's head, not a single tooth was left in his mouth, his nose was blue and his face was swollen. What? Suddenly, Qin Xiaolan's eyes turned red, and he roared loudly on his back. Immediately after, Qin Xiaolan's body began to rise up with red mists. These red mists had a thick bloody smell, as if blood boiled and evaporated. Many people took a deep breath when they watched this scene. It's broken, this Qin Xiaolan intends to blow himself up and die with Mr. Chen. Seeing this, Zhao Waoqi quickly said in shock. At this moment, many people are sweating for David. Qin Xiaolan, who is Wuzong, if this self-destructs, the power is comparable to a bomb, and it is afraid that even the entire stadium will be affected. Many people were so frightened that they started to run out, and some powerful ones immediately released their energy to form a barrier in front of their bodies. Elder, this Qin Xiaolan is going to explode himself, he doesn't even plan to keep his soul. Yu Dong looked at the scene in front of him in shock and said. You must know that martial artists above the master can condense energy in their danshan, and then detonate their danshan, causing their body to explode, and then emit huge energy. But in this way, the person who blew himself up wouldn't even have a bit of scum left, not to mention the corpse, even if he couldn't leave his soul, he wouldn't be able to reincarnate. Therefore, many people will not easily choose to self-destruct even if they know that they are dead, and if the strength gap is too large, even if they are self-destructed, it will not help. Chapter 690. I didn't expect Qin Xiaolan's temper to be so strong. After Su Chongsheng finished speaking, he saw a wave of his hands, a barrier visible to the naked eye, directly covering David and Qin Xiaolan. In this way, even if Qin Xiaolan blew himself up, it would not affect other people in the stadium. Otherwise, if a Wuzong blew himself up, the scene would be full of corpses. But in this way, David couldn't escape if he wanted to, so he could only carry the energy of Qin Xiaolan's self-destruction. The energy in Qin Xiaolan's body began to expand rapidly, and his body also swelled, as if being blown into the air. It's just that Qin Xiaolan's energy was not released, but kept gathering in his body. In the blink of an eye, Qin Xiaolan's body had swelled to an extremely strange appearance. Qin Xiaolan looked at David with unwillingness and anger in his eyes, but unfortunately he was speechless now and could only express his emotions with his eyes. David looked at Qin Xiaolan's hideous appearance, and there was not a trace of fear in his heart, but a trace of joy. "You look so chubby now, it's really cute." The corner of David's mouth lifted slightly, and then a burst of white mist rose from his body, and soon the mist on David's body and the red mist on Qin Xiaolan's body were intertwined. The fog wrapped the two people, so that other people could not see the figures of the two people at all. Qin Xiaolan was very surprised. He didn't understand why David was not afraid. This was a Wuzong's self-destruction. No one had heard of a Wuzong's self-destruction in the past 100 years. Originally, Qin Xiaolan thought that he could see David in a panic before he died, but unfortunately he was wrong. David was not afraid, and even had a smile on his face, which made Qin Xiaolan a little confused. But just when Qin Xiaolan was surprised, he felt that something unbelievable had happened. He only felt that the energy in his body was rapidly draining outwards. You must know that self-destruction requires qi energy to gather danshan, and then burst the danshan. If qi energy is leaked, there is no way to self-destruct. Seeing that his danshan had reached its limit, and when it was about to burst, Qin Xiaolan suddenly felt that his energy was flowing out uncontrollably. When Qin Xiaolan looked intently, a scene that made him unforgettable happened. He saw David in front of him, with a slight smile on his face, his mouth slightly open, and the rising red mist on his body was completely covered by David. Sucked into the body. Qin Xiaolan was dumbfounded. He didn't understand what kind of exercise David was practicing. How could he possibly inhale other people's energy into his body? When Qin Xiaolan wanted to stop the qi energy from leaking out, he found that he couldn't stop it at all, he could only watch the qi energy in his danshan leak out. At this moment, Qin Xiaolan didn't even have the chance to self-destruct. The originally swollen body was also shrinking rapidly at a speed visible to the naked eye, and in the end only a skeleton remained. Qin Xiaolan didn't understand until his death what kind of strength David was. Time passed by minute, but Qin Xiaolan's self-destruction did not come, and everyone didn't understand what happened. When the white mist dissipated, the figures of David and Qin Xiaolan appeared, but David was standing, while Qin Xiaolan was lying on the ground as scrawny, his eyes wide open, and he had long since stopped breathing. Seeing this scene, everyone was stunned, and Su Chongsheng even waved his hand, tore off the barrier, and hurried forward. Many people also gathered around, wanting to see if Qin Xiaolan was really dead. Qin Xiaolan, dead. When someone verified it, the scene was silent. They never imagined that Qin Xiaolan, who had planned to blow himself up, stopped at the last moment.